Okay. Podcast episode 1. Happiest Sad Person. This is so weird, but I feel like we need to...
Do you pick a topic or do you just start casually talking and see where it goes?
I don't know. Well, first let's introduce ourselves. I'm Allie Jacobs. I'm gonna officially decide this is called the Happiest Sad Person Podcast.
You gotta give some background.
I'm currently unemployed, like the rest of us Corona people, gig worker, but I'm naturally chronically unemployed because I'm a writer, dog walker. Just sort of enjoying my life, trying to become an actual writer. And I feel like the natural progression for that is to do a podcast. So I'm basically copying the Joe Rogans,
Oh, I can't say you're copying.
Well, it's already out there. I mean, I guess I can edit.
You could say admiration.
I admire.
Led you to take on your own podcast endeavors.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm gonna take that. And my co-host for the day is my brother Nate. You want to introduce yourself?
White male, brown hair, 5'10", 185 pounds.
Are you 5'10"? I think you're taller than that.
There's been a lot of drama regarding that, between 5'10" and 5'11".
Okay. I'm 5'8" and a half for reference.
For the license, they had me at like 5'10" and 3/4, but I think we just rounded down to 5'10" back in high school, and then every time they ask if I need to change anything, I say leave it as is. So I'm your average white male.
Good to know.
Southwestern Pennsylvania.
Now living in Detroit.
Now living in Detroit.
Classic white person move.
Like these old industrial towns.
We're currently sitting on the front porch of our family home. He's smoking a cigar I gave him. I'm smoking half of an old CBD joint. Quarantine times are rough, but this is a moment in history. And what better time than now to start a podcast, right?
So we were wondering, how do you, almost like curb style, you want to talk about nothing because you want to talk about what you're interested in, but you have to have a theme. So until the theme is found, we're just kind of going to talk about what we know or what we want to talk about.
Yeah, which I think will be the best way to do it. Because I've never honestly seen, have you seen the first episode of a podcast you like? Like the very first episode?
No, it's like watching the pilot episode of a show, right? Before it catches on.
Yeah, because
everyone tries to. I don't know what Tiger Belly season episode 1 sounds like.
I've never seen Tiger Belly episode 1. For reference, that's Bobby Lee, the comedian's podcast. I recently listened to, though, ironically enough, The Minimalists. They have a documentary. 2
guys, right?
Yeah, just one has
one
crazy
blonde, one brunette
hair, stuck up hair, like he's been electrocuted. Yeah,
I don't buy them completely.
Yeah, they also, their brand of minimalism is be your own minimalist, which is nice, but it's also the most vague thing. But I listened to their first episode, and it didn't feel like a first episode. It felt just like their usual episodes, which was like, meh.
Yeah, I don't know. The Marie Kondo thing I can get behind, but declutter your life. I'm not full on the minimalist bandwagon.
At all? I feel like you're naturally a minimalist.
Naturally, but not like... I mean, if you naturally like to have things, keep your things. If you're minimalist, don't need to listen to them. You're naturally minimalist.
Well, I'm naturally a hoarder, so I have to fight my hoarding nature to, I don't know, have less stuff. Because in my dream world, I would keep everything. Everything would just be organized. I wouldn't be like a dirt person hoarder that has like dead cats and magazines, but I would have magazines in file folders.
I would have a very sparse place, a very nice couch. Living room would be restoration hardware couch. There's deep leather ones.
The $10,000 couch.
$10,000 couch would be the nicest thing in my home. Nice TV on the wall. No cords. No DVD. No Xbox. No.
Well, you're not a gamer.
Maybe a photo on the wall. Nice rug.
Yeah.
But then it would lack. Sparse places lack coziness.
Have you seen the the Kombucha King, the guy that owns, his real name is GT, this brand. He's called the Kombucha King. He lives...
Tell the people what you're drinking right now.
I'm drinking GT, who's the Kombucha King, who I just found out that's his real name. Like, he was born that name.
Where's he from?
Bel Air. So he was a rich
Fresh
kid.
Prince.
Yep, Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Jewish?
White guy. He's had so much plastic surgery, you don't know what he is. But it's Synergy Organic Kombucha Watermelon Wonder. Pretty good. And now that I know his name's GT Dave, now that I know GT Dave owns GT's Kombucha, I'm a stan. I'm gonna follow his.
What are the benefits?
I don't know. Good gut bacteria. It helps your stomach. I mean,
You buy that?
Yeah and no. I'm a gullible for pseudoscience stuff. My goal actually on this podcast is to talk to people that participate in that and do challenges. And
What kind of challenges?
have kombucha every day for a month. Do that foot thing where those little bugs eat the dead skin off your feet. I want to go to a Korean spa and get the full body rub down. Try skincare stuff. I don't know, I think it's important to better yourself and try new things and see what sticks. I have a feeling I'll hate 95% of it, but who knows?
So 30 days, that's a secret. Try something new 30 days at a time.
But statistically, it takes longer than 30 days. They say it's closer to 60 to make a true habit. The 30 days of
It
myth.
takes like 10,000 hours, Malcolm Gladwell.
That's to become an expert.
You'd rather become an expert at one thing?
Or be a jack of all trades, like a Renaissance man.
I know 20 things.
I feel
but
like
not
I'm.
be great at any of them.
I feel like I'm like that now, but I would like to become an expert in writing. That's my ultimate.
So you can become both, an expert and a jack of all trades with side things.
Yeah, my goal is to become an expert in writing and then be a jack of all trades in running, because I'm not Ethiopian. I'm not going to be like, I don't got that melanin in my skin, so I'm not going to be an expert runner. But I do love to run.
What flavor is that water you're drinking?
What?
What flavor is that water?
Watermelon.
Got that melanin in your skin.
I got that watermelon in. Yeah.
You can cut that part out.
No, that was so good. That brought me the most joy of this so far.
Okay, so you kind of want to focus on somewhat challenges, like 30-day challenges.
Yeah.
With a kind of a focus on. You can tell the people you're vegan, by the way.
Yeah, I'm vegan. I've just surpassed my 2-year vegan. I don't know, anniversary celebration. I don't even know what
you're not a PETA-esque vegan. You don't attack the non-vegans.
No, but my goal is to invite people on that are hardcore, like, won't sit at a table with people that eat meat, and people like me that are vegan but don't push it. Because I know I can be, what's the word? Sanctimonious, or...
So they're like, what's it?
Evangelical, yes.
Vegans, and then just everyday vegans.
Yeah, and I think that...
So you don't think it's your job to make everyone else vegan?
No, I think I've had more success. I've had people reach out to me and say, you've helped me go vegan by showing it's not intense. And I never sought out to be somebody's inspiration in going vegan. I'm not that person at all. I'm like the opposite. I'm like, don't follow anything I do, because I'm saying this to everyone as well listening. I am not the leader, the cult leader, the Jesus, the Messiah.
I'm not your guru. Tony Robbins.
Yeah, I'm not Tony Robbins, and I'm not your guru. I'm not any of that. But I don't know. I think that's what makes people want to be more interested in what you're doing, is whenever you say, don't follow me. Because it shows that you have humility and self-awareness.
Another interesting concept would be, like, throughout the podcast, like...
I love that this is super meta, and this is like the podcast, but it's also like the discussion about the pod. I
just watched The Matrix, so this is like...
I've never seen The Matrix. That's another thing I need to do. I've never seen any popular movie that people enjoy. Like, I cannot, for reference, I can't sit through a movie to save my life. Like, I can't do it. And I also dislike...
How do you respond to people who say you do that because you want to be different?
No. I wish I liked movies more. I wish I enjoyed them more.
So you don't enjoy movies in general?
I either love movies or I hate them. And I
Parasite.
loved. I think it was so incredible visually. Cinematography is really what gets me. I think the message is so well done. The imagery is so well done. The to be able to translate something from Korean to English and make it still so accessible and culturally able to like cross so many cultures, that's like a masterpiece movie. I really have to watch movies like that. I like movies that have a certain aesthetic appeal. I'm guilty of being a hipster and liking Wes Anderson movies because everything's so meticulous.
Never heard of it.
Wes Anderson. Really? The Royal Tenenbaums?
Never heard of it.
Really? Wow. Okay. The Darjeeling Limited, I think, is the other movie, and then The Hotel. What's that hotel movie?
Hotel Rwanda.
No. No. I don't. It's
Hotel California.
No, that's an Eagles song. Oh God, this is gonna be like I guess that.
Do you know the lead singer of the Eagles?
You know what? That's embarrassing. Is that's my favorite kind of music, and I don't. Give me initials.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh. Okay, no, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't. But yeah, I also don't. I don't know. I don't like movies that I can't find an era or a character or a story I can't relate to. It just doesn't grasp me. But if something grasps me, I'm obsessed with it. So I don't know.
So would one aspect of this be having the viewers sell you on a popular movie?
Yeah, I would love
Sell
to be
me
a
on
segment. Sell me on a movie. I'll watch it.
Sell me on a popular mainstream movie.
Yeah, because I don't name like 5 movies that everyone's seen, and
Star Wars.
I saw 20 minutes of that, maybe. Didn't like it, but I'm willing to give it another try. I don't like anything that involves space because I have what's the word? Motion sickness, and that just seems like a nightmare.
Pulp Fiction.
Never seen. Also, there are cars driving past as well, so if you hear speeding cars, we're on the front porch of a relatively busy road.
You want to give where you're from, or do you want to keep that vague?
Oh, I think that's a big part of it, because I'm so
Okay.
non where I'm from. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I guess we'll leave that up.
I guess that can be a
There's
point of
also
contention.
Misconceptions about certain areas, and then
Yeah.
correct
Stereotypes? Yeah, there's always truth in every stereotype. Yeah, I'm from Pittsburgh, I guess, technically, but just south of Pittsburgh, kind of in like a little rural-ish area. Grew up in an old farm. Yeah, I want to make this video, but I don't think you'd guess my upbringing from the way that I come across or look. But again, I could seem very rural in Pittsburgh, but I don't think I come across that way.
The 2 worst and the 2 best things about
Pittsburgh?
living in Pittsburgh.
2 best and 2 worst?
Yep, because you also live downtown in a popular
Yeah,
area
I lived in the party district of Pittsburgh, if you can call it that, Bar Central. Well, let's do positive first. This is called Happiest Sad Person Podcast, so let's do the optimistic side. Yeah, best would be. God, if you can't tell, I'm really not a fan of where I'm from. This is always a joking point. Best would be there's a friendliness to the city. There's a friendliness to whenever you meet somebody from the city. God, the cars are so loud. Like if you meet someone in an airport from Pittsburgh, they're immediately going to bond with you. I think there's charm to that because it's like a connection. Second best. Oh, honestly, I mean this is like more of a dark thing, but I think it was really cool how everyone came together after the shooting in the Squirrel Hill Synagogue, and just seeing everyone putting.
That was Tree of Life.
Tree of Life Synagogue, yeah, and there was a mass shooting there, and in Squirrel Hill, which is a major I think it has like a really crazy percentage of a Jewish population, like in the United States. Great place to hang out, and I don't know, seeing everyone come together, and like I went with my roommate, to put flowers there, and it was just really nice.
Seems like sense of togetherness. Like people are very, and this is also probably negative.
That's what I was gonna say.
Pride.
Yeah,
there's a tight knit pride, or even Detroit. Since I moved there, you'll find Pittsburgh people. We'll go to a bar to watch a Steelers game, and someone will talk to you for 2 hours about where they used to live in Pittsburgh, or they'll give you their number and they'll want to hang out again. Like if they find you, you'll find a friend.
Yeah, there's a positive, and there's sort of a weird, almost like nationalism that makes you not want to leave and make you have a blindness to how great Pittsburgh is, and I think that's
like there's no like why leave Pittsburgh? You have everything you need.
Yeah, and that
you've been out some other places, you might say, hey, there's a lot better out there. You just have to open your mind. You can't think
small-minded, small town. Yeah, and there's a lot of people have there's a large population of like Eastern European, like Polish people or Italian people, and so they have all their family here, and there's not a desire to get away from family.
This might be a negative you might touch on, but I have friends who move here from other places, and they say it's very hard. People are very friendly. It's very hard to. It contradicts.
Break into the social circle.
It's hard to break into friend groups because everyone has their friend group. Most live here, and it's hard to get in that because they have years of established friendships, and they might they'll grab drinks with you, but you might not feel like you're really part of any group. It'll be very hard to get in with that group.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we also benefit from the fact that we don't have a large family here, so we had to make friends, and I think that served us well in, you moved and then I moved to the city and had to make new friends, and it was just more socialness outside of our family was more accessible because we had to do that when we were younger.
So let's segue in to your two negatives. Kind of already touched on them. So
my second negative is well, it's more of an aesthetic thing. I do not like the black and gold colors. It reminds me of
So you think the sports culture overwhelms?
I think it's overwhelming. I think there's a lack of culture to it, which I'm probably going to get lit up with.
There's actually a large culture to it, but it's a culture you don't like.
I guess I would lean more
blue collar factory workers, and it's like we drink beer on Sundays, watch our team. It's our one day off. We're back in the mill tomorrow. And it's just kind of that working culture. A lot of it, for many people, they weren't able to get formally educated because most of the jobs were manufacturing, production. So that whole culture of putting education on the back burner.
There's a lack of also Sunday becomes drinking football, no self-betterment. And I am guilty of overdoing the self-betterment culture. I know that, but I would much rather overdo that than have more of like a sloth-like behavior on a Sunday. And granted, I'm privileged.
Sunday's your day for that sloth. Like, what if you're doing Monday through Saturday, you're working hard, you're doing all your yard work, you're taking your kids around, or you're still going out with friends and going to happy hours, but Sunday's your day to sit on the couch. Maybe you're going to make some homemade pasta. Maybe you're just going to order pizza and wings, but you're going to have your beer, and all day you're just going to relax. That's your thing.
And that's what I'm becoming more flexible, because I still am very rigid with my thoughts, but I'm becoming more flexible in that I understand people want differently than I do. And to me that sounds like a nightmare. But to other people that sounds great and fun and relaxing.
Do you think people would be surprised if we come to Pittsburgh who have never been here before, or honestly know little to not much about it? Like going to Detroit, some people are like, I've been there once, or Pittsburgh, you're right next to Philly, but really Detroit's closer to Pittsburgh than Philly.
Yeah, Philly's like 5 hours.
Don't really know much about it. Yeah, you might know the Steelers, and Winter Sports, so you might know Old Steel Town. But someone coming here for a weekend for the first time, what would maybe make them say, I didn't expect that, for better or for worse? Good or bad. What would maybe take them aback?
I think there's a hub of education here that people would not guess, because in just outside of central downtown, there's University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon, which is like
Duquesne University.
Duquesne as well, Carlo. There's this hub of education, and CMU has a robotics program. People I do not think realize that intelligence and a solid educational program comes out of Pittsburgh. And so I think that's kind of cool, especially whenever you realize, like, a lot of people, even in the arts, went to the CMU art program and theater program. And, I don't know,
From
it's a
White
sense of
Collar.
pride. Oh, really?
That actor, what's his name?
Which one?
Good-looking guy. Brown hair, slicked back.
I know who you, okay, I don't know his name, but, oh, really?
Yep. CMU.
Oh. I did not know that.
Gene Kelly.
That name
Is he a
sounds...
singer or an actor? I don't know. But no.
All I'm thinking of is the Mad TV skit, Gene Shalit. Gene Shalit?
Oh, yeah. Can I have your number?
Yeah, can I have your number? The mom from Who's the Boss, Judith Light.
Nope.
You don't know that show?
Never watched it.
Oh my god, you never. That was like my show growing up.
I'm not into mainstream popular shows.
I'm trying to think of what else she was in. A bunch of Lifetime movies. She's in that show Transparent. She's the mom.
So we're giving bad representation of the Carnegie Mellon.
The gay guy that has shown up on the red carpet recently. What's his name? Billy Porter.
Oh, really?
He spoke at my college graduation.
I was there and I don't remember him.
Yeah, he spoke.
The guy from Kinky Boots.
Yeah, that's him.
That was a black guy.
Yeah. Billy Porter.
Oh, I thought Billy Porter was that guy who was really loud on that show.
That's Billy Eichner.
Billy Eichner. Oh.
God, see, this is funny because this is like...
speaker.
Yeah, and then the Huffington Post guy as well spoke about. For reference, I went to a small liberal arts school that cost way too much money, but it was awesome and great, and now I have a ton of student loans, and I'm going to try and pay those off, but...
That's another good question. Like, anyone who, like we both have student debt, leaving school. I took a more traditional path of, business degree, got a job in the Pittsburgh area with that degree in supply chain, then moved to Detroit. But does anyone regret getting their college degree? Like, even though you met great friends, it is a very unique experience. If you've never gone to 4-year college, living with roommates, it is, the experience itself, you might say, is worth it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times I second guess, like, man, all the debt, like, is there a better way?
I know
like,
a lot of people that regret.
Learn and promote academia without...
FYI, there's a chicken across the street where we live, if you hear that.
It's a rooster. For
it's
everyone who knows that chickens don't make that sound.
Oh, sorry, I don't know my my animal information.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear people's perspective on that.
I think that would be a great interview.
And if you went to a big school, do you wish you would have went to a small school, or if you went to a small school,
vice versa,
you missed out on big school benefits, like job stuff, or like.
I mean, looking back, obviously, I hate the word regrets. I feel like it's such a cliche thing to say, but I think everything sort of takes you in the path you're supposed to be taken, and I don't know, I'm an expert in learning hard lessons. So, I mean, you could always look back and think, oh, I wish, but knowing myself, I went to a school that had, maybe 1,200 to 1,500 people, probably.
Basically...
Tiny.
Probably the size, or not smaller than a lot of high schools.
Yeah, like a large high school it's about the same size.
But you get to know professors to the point that you get coffee with them.
Yeah, I have a lot of professors that I know fairly well, and I was in a sorority, and you just make these really close bonds, and you sort of know. It's like it's a special community, and I don't think I would have handled. You probably would know this well about me. I don't think I would have handled, like, if I would have went to NYU, I probably would have dropped out the first year because there would have been too much fun, temptation. I would have spent all the money on shopping. There would have been too much. It would have been overstimulating.
And segueing from, like, academics, I think we all, I say we, I'm just a guest, but I hope to be a frequent guest. But on the podcast, I feel like politics, you definitely want it to be something that everyone asks about, we talk about.
Yeah.
Even it's cliche, you don't talk about it in the workforce, but...
No, I think that people need to talk about the things that no one talks about, which is money, religion, and politics, which are the most important things that drive and shape our world, especially now in quarantine. Like, this is such a wild time where all of those come together, with everyone being unemployed, myself being one of them, people that are religious, breaking the rules and going to religious establishments to catch that corona, and politics. I mean, I wonder if we had a democratic government, if there'd be less death and more responsiveness.
And obviously, you've just given your lean of very liberal.
I'm very open. Yeah, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I'm very liberal.
But you'd probably be very interested to hear the perspective of someone very conservative.
Yeah.
There's probably some middle ground.
I was socially democratic and fiscally conservative for a long time. I mean, I was also someone that was.
I think
they don't correlate at this point. Yeah. But for a time I was. And also I was an atheist in high school, and now I'm just generally spiritual. I mean, that's a whole other tangent, but I think you can change.
What's one Republican viewpoint that you're like, you know what? Yeah, I wish Democrats
would take
that stance.
I'm trying to think about what would be. That's a really good question, because right now I've had my blinders on for some time in that regard.
Or is it maybe that's a good segment of like give me something like what's a good Republican stance that
I would
like someone like me, like a staunch liberal, I could be like, you know what?
I get behind that.
Yep.
I was. This doesn't count because I think this is a reversal, but I was pro death penalty for a while, and now I'm very anti death penalty, just because of how the actual death occurs, and how there is not one. Did you know there's not one specific person that actually presses the drugs into the system? There's two people, so that no one feels the actual guilt of it. One of the drugs goes into a bucket, and the other goes into the person. So these two people don't know isn't that wild? Don't actually know who does the death. And so I think that there's a removal process of the actual death.
Is it weird thinking that someone has to be responsible for killing people?
I think if you're going to,
even though they signed up for it, does that seem weird that the government actively says, yeah?
You can choose morally if you don't want to do that. I do think, though, just like, I mean, it's a similar stance with veganism. I think that you.
What if that was my job? I'm the guy that pushes that. Would you think differently of me?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I would really be saddened. And if I would have the financial means someday, I would.
What if you didn't, and I'm the guy that pushes the button that kills people, but I pay for all your student loans?
I wouldn't be able to accept it. I really just
pay
because.
for it behind your back. You find out later.
No. I would.
But they're paid off. What do? You start paying me back?
Honestly, that's just something that, as I've learned about, even though these people have done terrible things,
a person, treat them like a human.
I think that there's some, even in death, you're killing someone. You're taking them from the earth. I think that there's the way we murder people and how brutal it is. And I think the amount of people that have been found not guilty after and exonerated, and we've probably killed a lot of innocent people, and they've died really terribly because the drugs we used to get for murdering people, essentially the death penalty, I think it was in Germany, it was somewhere outside of the United States, they found out what we were doing, and they stopped our use of that drug. They stopped importing it, and so now we sort of make our own little cocktail of it, and it just basically tortures the person. I mean, it's honestly a firing squad would be better than how we murder people through the death penalty today. Because you're still murdering them. You're taking their life from this earth. I think that's a pretty extreme punishment.
isn't raping someone an extreme crime?
Absolutely. But I
extreme be met with extreme.
I think that the act of death is the most extreme punishment you can put on someone. And I just think that if you're going to kill someone, I personally don't believe in the death penalty at all, but I think if you are, I think you should kill them just relatively swiftly. I think it's also more for the person that's doing it. I think that damages them less, because if somebody has to do it, these two people that are pressing the syringe button, I think it's better for them.
You think they're close friends?
The two people.
You think after they do it, they have to go grab a drink?
God, wouldn't that be the most morbid thing ever?
Yeah, like, how do you talk about your day? Oh, how's your day today?
I mean, I guess that would maybe be like someone that's an embalmer or anything. There's a normalcy to it. I think that's what's scarier. I think that once that becomes your new normal, because our brains naturally adapt to everything, and so I think that if that becomes your normal, that's terrifying. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously wouldn't choose that.
Yeah.
Unless I was... Yeah, I don't know how someone ends up doing that. I'm assuming they didn't choose it. They were maybe working for the prison system, and then they kind of got transitioned into that role, and it happened so casually that it almost didn't even seem
Or
real.
maybe they were told, oh, you're just going to do this one time.
Yeah,
and then one time,
job,
yeah. And then at that point, you're like, well, I have government benefits.
St. John's out sick today, and they're like, you're going to press the button today. And then
that's how they get every
one day
person
John
in.
To come back, and then you're in.
They kill John, so now that's your new job.
Now it's you.
God, that would be such a bummer. But granted, I also was someone, I considered being a mortician for a long time, and I actually...
What happened?
Well, I reached out to the school twice, and they never got back to me. I'm naturally a morbid person, so I think maybe it was sort of like the universe saying, please don't get this job, or you will truly become the most strange, morbid person ever.
Also, side note, tell the people, very into writing poetry.
Yeah.
Darker poetry. So if we have any poets out there, or any writers...
Yeah, please reach out, send me
Yeah.
your stuff. We can maybe have a little reading here and there, or you can call in and read your stuff, or advice, or stuff you want to, if I'd ever make well, I'm currently hopefully going to get something published, but if you're in the market, reach out. That would be pretty exciting. Yeah, it's funny, I found a poem I wrote when I was 8 years old about, like, the most morbid, weird, Shakespearean stuff. I was just...
You're going to read it on one of these episodes?
If I find it again, because it was in this old notebook. It was like, Lisa Frank. Remember those notebooks that were really bright and colorful?
Nope.
Okay, you don't know Who's the Boss or Lisa Frank. Please, anyone's listening.
5-star notebooks and mead.
Oh God, you were such a little organized person. But no, I had like an old Lisa Frank notebook, and
How many 8-year-old boys do you think are carrying around Lisa Frank?
No, but
notebooks?
you would have had to have known like a girl that would have had it. It was like a really popular. They had pencils, accessories. Whenever you go school shopping, the shelves would be lined with Lisa Frank, and they would have like cats, and it would be like psychedelic. It was like almost 70s but 90s at the same time. People know it's a very specific vibe.
Fun fact, actually, Anne Frank's great niece, when she came to the U.S., started that company in New York.
Okay, you are such a liar.
Blew up.
Oh yeah, Anne Frank's great niece started Lisa Frank. Yeah. Okay, whatever you say.
For those who don't know,
what a change in history.
A lot of people don't know this, but she was stuck in an attic in Amsterdam for multiple years.
Oh, is that who Anne Frank is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Diaries of Anne Frank. New York
You know
Times
what?
bestseller. Yep.
You know what? I think I've seen that on the recommended book list I've come across. Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll get to that one day. You know, I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah, if anyone has any book recommendations too.
Yeah, I mean, my goal this year is to read 100 books.
What number are you on?
Oh God, I just finished.
You 20 yet?
15.
Okay. Okay, 15.
I really need to ramp up, but during quarantine, I'm really just trying. I read multiple books at once, so I'm reading 4 books at the moment, which I know sounds probably like what a serial killer does, because no one reads different chapters at once, but I need like a genre selection when I read. I'm reading a book about health right now. I'm reading a book about the girl that escaped the Westboro Baptist Church. Fascinating. I'm reading a book about how to have a sustainable closet and environmentalism. I recently finished a book about a guy that he was a writer, he was obese his whole life, and his weight loss journey. Spoiler alert, he only loses like 25 pounds, which was the biggest bummer of a book ever. It was just basically him saying he has terrible self-control. He lied to his employer about having finished college. He was a semester or a few classes away from finishing. And he just talked about how he was from the South and ate everything.
And he was only 25 pounds overweight.
No, he only lost 25 pounds. He was 400 and something pounds. But within a 2-year period, he lost only like 25 pounds.
The book ends?
That's it. I was at the end of every chapter there would be an update. It would be like year weight loss for the year, and it would only be 4 pounds.
Alert.
Spoiler alert. I didn't give you the title of the book, so.
What's it called again?
Oh,
that's good. That's great.
Honestly, it was a long title. Maybe that can be another section, like a little book club section. Review a book, review a movie. Yeah. I don't know. I also want to read more fiction. I found 2 pandemic books, weirdly enough, that I'm going to start reading. Right non-fiction right now, but fiction. Because I love a good dystopian future book, which is honestly kind of what the world has come to at the moment. But I don't know. I feel like I'm reading a lot of non-fiction lately and self-help, and I want to take a little hiatus from that.
So you get a little rental up in Maine, a little cottage. Okay. And you're going up there to just read books. If anyone hasn't seen the Bill Gates docu-series on Netflix, really good. He basically...
Another thing I need to see.
This guy throughout his life, almost every year, he goes to his little cottage for a week at a time. He's a fridge stocked full of Coke. He loves Diet Coke. He just drinks Diet Coke. He reads this pile of books he reads, like 15 books. And he retains everything. So he basically just goes on reading retreats by himself and just drinks Cokes. So he went...
That honestly sounds like a dream.
Reading retreat. Went to Maine, got a little cottage.
How long does he go?
He goes for a week.
Oh, wow, okay.
You make little fires at night. It's winter time. Great reading time.
That would actually be...
He's in Washington when he does it.
Okay.
Seattle area, I think. But what drink do you sit by the fire as you read? Is it a bourbon? A hot tea?
Good question. Well, I'm jealous that he drinks Diet Coke because I had an extreme Diet Coke addiction. Fun fact, I haven't had soda in probably over 5 years. Because I would drink like the equivalent of probably...
Fun fact.
Fun fact?
Like, do you think that was actually fun, or was this a fact? Like Should be like
I would love to know. I would love to know the origin.
Fun fact. Like,
yeah.
Is it fun
no, it's not fun. To be honest with you, because it's depressing that I was addicted to Diet Coke. It's not a fun fact. It's a sad fact. It's an honest fact. I don't know what. Maybe I'll call it honest. Honest fact about me. I was addicted to Diet Coke.
Doesn't a fact have to be honest?
Wow, that's wow, touche.
Sad fact. Sad fact.
Honestly, maybe that'll become a series as well. Sad, yeah. Repetition.
Sad fact of the day.
Sad fact of the day. Yeah, I was addicted to Diet Coke. I probably would have two 2-liter equivalents of Diet Coke a day, because I also would get 4 hours of sleep a night when I was in college, and I worked like almost a full-time job. And I was in a sorority. I was the vice president of my sorority. And I was doing a double major. And I was wound up. And that's probably because I was drinking so much Diet Coke. Oh, and then I would also have probably 6 or 7 cups of coffee throughout the day. And then I'd have Red Bull. And then I'd drink at night. So, I mean, what a wonderful combo to have a heart attack.
And I think it's also interesting, getting perspectives of anyone who's ever been any addiction issues, whether it be I mean, definitely no, like, what do you like? It's not like no therapy experience or no rehab experience, but just someone's perspective of what their life was being addicted to.
Anything
Drugs,
really.
sugar,
Exercise.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be negative. I mean, I think there can be good. You might be addicted to something positive,
but also inherently,
but it might take over your life.
Yeah, inherently the word addiction is negative because it means that your balance is out of whack. And I think you would agree, as my brother, I have an extremely addictive personality. Would you say that?
Mm-hmm. I think you got better.
Oh, I'm getting better with it, but I have this like need to like if I do something, I burn myself out with addictions. Like that's the one good thing is I'm not a true addict because I'll be addicted to something for a couple years, 6 months, maybe even like a month, something. Whatever I do, I'll be addicted to it, and then I'll burn myself out, and then I'll move on to something else. Like I had a shopping addiction that got me, and these are all fun little topics we can go into more in depth, but I spent a lot of money I didn't have.
Also, I don't know if anyone ever listens to Dave Ramsey.
The Southern guy?
Yeah, he was a Southern guy, Tennessee guy.
Yeah.
He's interesting. I mean, he says a lot of stuff. You're like, I don't know about that, but basically his whole spiel is, this is how you should be getting out of debt. So like, I don't know.
Yeah,
you know,
he has
he
his
might cover some
steps, right?
He might cover some debt topics of like, hey, how are you handling like your student debt payments? Are you doing side gigs or like, who's been doing Uber or maybe editing papers or like what side gigs has everyone been doing to kind of like
get themselves out of debt, whether
pay off debt? Like who's living at home with their parents right now and how are they trying to like what are their next steps to after they get out of debt? Like, what's the end goal?
Yeah, and I would love advice for myself to get, because I have some consumer debt as well as some student loan debt. And I actually have some medical bill debt that I actually need to address as well. This is also a podcast for me to get out all my like dirty secrets that I think that will hopefully make other people feel better about themselves or be a discussion point.
It's interesting though, health benefits, improving yourself, but you also talk about certain plastic surgery.
Oh.
And I feel like,
yeah.
I don't know if that goes against self-betterment, because it's like you're not doing it yourself, but you're saying you think it falls within self-betterment. Like, if anything,
yeah,
if you want to fix something, you promote plastic surgery.
I used to be very anti-plastic surgery because I felt like it was a cheap way to skip the hurdles. It's almost like running around all the hurdles on the track and being like, "Oop, got to the finish line without doing any work." But now, because I'm someone that eventually wants plastic surgery, I would like to get it.
You want it for just because it's, hey, I think this would be cool, or is it confidence boost, or is it not even confidence, but just I just want this?
I think it's a combination of the last two. And
do you think anything about it can be dangerous for someone with an addictive personality?
Oh, 100%. To be honest with you, I think
personality, you're just gonna keep finding things, keep going under the knife.
Those people are botched. If I was wealthy right now, without having the foresight that I'm getting and the awareness of myself. Loud truck. Wow.
Here in southwestern Pennsylvania, we got a lot of big diesel pickups coming up.
Yep, a lot of pickup. What a treat. No, I really think I should have a cap on what I would eventually get done. I also have ruled out getting a Brazilian butt lift because the death percentage is the highest of all plastic surgeries, and you can throw a clot really easily. And I know that I can do that work myself, aesthetically. And also I know I'm a dangerous person to go down that road because some of the things I want aren't regular plastic. I would like my nostrils to have more of a point right here. I know that's an insane thing I want.
You want to look like Cheryl from Curb.
I like that nose. I like how it's like
You
over.
see her in season 10?
No, I haven't.
Man, her face stretched.
Oh,
She either
facelift?
just had- Man,
I'm gonna have
She
to
looks-
check that out.
good for her age, but it's blatantly obvious.
She's what, like 55-ish right now, as of 2020.
I have no idea. But
My guess is 55-ish. She married one of the Kennedys. Did you know that in real life?
Still married?
They just got married. Maybe within 5-ish years, maybe?
The same diesel
I was
pickup
just
truck
gonna say, I
coming
think
back
that's the
down
same
road?
truck. It just turned around. Wow. I'm curious to hear this back and see what atrocious audio this is. But this just gives us the
We gotta start somewhere with these.
intro
Start us now.
vibes. This is too funny.
So usually if you don't do this, it'll probably never happen. If you wait for getting the right
This is-
equipment, if you wait for
Everything
taking
to align.
classes on how to...
You're never ready.
and
That's not a
It's
quote.
gonna change a million times over, I'm sure. As you consistently do this over the year.
Yeah. The segments will tighten up and the vibe will really be clear and the energy and the I don't know, the way it's done and the purpose. I think that's the main thing is I don't know what my purpose is, but I know I just need to get my viewpoint out there because
I agree. A lot of people are trying to find their own purpose.
I think
so
everyone
in a way,
is.
like having a podcast, it changes because you're always trying to find a purpose.
Yeah,
you
and
you have to have does going through without a set purpose create the purpose as you go, or should you have a defined purpose going in?
How very existential of you. I don't know. I honestly think inherently your purpose, but sometimes it's sort of shrouded in denial or fear or just the mundaneness of life. And it could change over time, but I think that there's like a general consensus of what someone's purpose is. I also think some people just want comfort in their life, and so that they won't ever truly uncover their purpose. And I think there has to be some of that to make the world go by. There has to be people that do the 9-to-5 job. There has to be people that are content with security and a certain lifestyle. And I think that's what makes the difference between people that are CEOs, people that are writers, people that are accountants, people that are doctors, whatever. I think that that's the natural way of sort of placing people to create a functional society, which I think is necessary. But I know the way I operate, and if you put me in an office doing accounting, I would blow my brains out. That just seems like my worst nightmare.
Would be interesting. I work a standard 9-to-5 job in a sense. Like no one seems to really work those exact hours anymore, but basically it's Monday through Friday.
8 to 4, 10 to 7, whatever.
8-hour day, corporation. I'd be interested to get people who work those jobs on and their perspective of their careers living that life, and then also the perspective of people who live and work in unorthodox working.
And for people, I would love for someone to sell me on their traditional job and that they love, because I love people that have passion. That one guy we met in Detroit.
Say New York Times. You work as a journalist, or you work writing for them. You interview with people, but overall, you're in the New York Times office. You might be there 8-hour day.
Oh yeah.
Or you're crazy passionate about it. You're doing what you love. So I think
there's monotony in writing too.
You love and live like a standard. You could do it maybe in something you quantify as unorthodox, but you could still work in an orthodox.
It's funny hearing the word orthodox described as traditional, because when I hear orthodox, I just think
The
like
Russian Orthodox.
Yeah, or just like Orthodox Jewish or Orthodox something. It's just funny hearing that. But go ahead.
Yeah, but
there's monotony to every job.
People who don't work they work for themselves, or they do their own. So they do podcasts, or they're writers, or they sell stuff on Etsy. Like people who do that, do you try to give yourself a regular schedule, whether you're doing something out of the norm? Like do you try to package the stuff you ship out from 8 a.m. to noon? Do you try to answer emails? And do you still try to keep yourself in a normal schedule? Or do you do those unique jobs or gig jobs so you can work 6 p.m. to midnight?
I think there's a mixture of people. I know that my personal trainer, who also does YouTube and has a bunch of other businesses, she's very regimented. She wakes up at like 6 in the morning, works out, does client coaching from X to X, and then makes training plans from this time to this time. And then I also know people that work, I'm someone that works obscure hours, but I think people are more successful, even if they have that untraditional job, when they work from this time to this time. And I eventually would like to get off, especially with writing. I would love to have a traditional, organized, structured writing time set aside every day. Because I have become this person that writes whenever the creativity strikes me. And that's not serving a sustainable writing practice. And that's something I do want to improve on and work on and discuss and be held accountable, because I think external accountability is really beneficial.
Let's see how or where you are of timing. How long do you think this podcast has been going?
I cheated and looked.
Oh, come on.
What's your guess?
27 minutes.
No?
37. Wow. 43?
Right?
48. 54. 50. Okay, now you just tell me.
51. Isn't that pretty wild? How?
I guess when you listen to Joe Rogan, sometimes it's a lot. It's like early on, some of them are like 2 hours. You're like, how does someone?
Some are 3.
And then you go, you're like, you know what? You can easily see how these go.
Yeah. Hour, 2 hours.
So, if we sum this one up, episode 1.
Yeah. I'm pretty impressed.
How would you want to end it? Do we end it on a question? Or
let me ask you, because ultimately, I part of me doing this is to get more insight on myself, because I'm someone that has the strangest combination of the most self-awareness and the least self-awareness. So I think I'm going to ask you a question that can be both directed towards me and you.
Okay.
So what do you think is going to be your best quality for financial success, and what do you think is my best quality for financial success?
Okay, so this specific one's just focused on just financial success, nothing else. This question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, just because we're in this, I recently had to embarrassingly enough file for unemployment, and so I'm just financial stuff is on the brain. So why not just ask this? Start this.
I think I have a very planned approach of what I know I need to do to get to X. Like, I follow a lot of financial blogs. A lot.
Yes, you do.
But Financial Samurai is a great one. This guy...
For reference, he sends me financial blogs, advice constantly.
And I think there's one that fits every persona. If you're a big spender, shockingly, there's great financial blogs for people who are like... They're like, yeah, I was a big spender too. You can still have fun, but you have to, like, change some ways of your life a little bit without changing who you are.
Yeah.
But, like, I know, for example, I'm investing in like 401k and retirement.
Good
and
for you.
If I'm ever guesting on the show, I would definitely be interested in segments relating to, like, investing, future. But I think I plan to put 20% of my income aside for that. I don't pretend to know. I think pretending to know in areas you don't know about, like, I don't pretend to know stocks. I invest in, like, super low expense rate, like, low cost mutual funds. Very basic things. I don't try to pretend I know about what company to get or this. I just don't have that experience. So I think I think being self-aware is big. Like, I know what I don't know.
Okay.
And I'm only going to do what I do know.
Well, there's humility. Yeah.
And then I try to focus on paying down all my debt.
Okay.
Student loan debt. then my plan for I want to start owning rental properties. But basically, I mean, that's pretty generic. So I think it's just like, if I like self-automate, make the generic stuff happen so I don't think about it. Like money gets taken out of my paycheck and goes to that. I don't worry about it.
A self-sustaining
keep doing
business.
It, I'll have the money there when I need it.
Yeah.
So I think I take the thought process out of it. I do it so it becomes automated. And I try to read up on things, but
You're very financially literate.
to a basic
degree, but you're more than most.
Most people only need super basic financial literacy. Like you don't need to know when to buy and sell. Just just do it. If you are saving X amount of money, you're putting it in, I think you're gonna be.
Don't answer an email to a Nigerian prince.
Yeah.
Don't join an MLM. Yeah, those.
So I think I don't know, aware of the steps I need to do to get where I want to be.
Yeah.
So that'd be mine.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Now, my guess, what is my best quality for financial success?
Your best quality, you still are a spender, but you're more in control of your spending now, I think, since you've had to be, right?
Being broke does that to you.
Yep.
And hitting your credit card limits does that to you.
I usually do it. But I think, like everyone says, I don't know, do you want to be wildly successful financially? Is that an important thing to you, or do you just want to be able to live your life, and if the money comes, great. If not, it's okay. Or do you really want lots of money?
I would love 5 years of wildly successful financial stability.
So I guess
at least. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it'd be crazy if I said I didn't want financial success, but I do want purpose and joy in a career and finding a profession or combination of professions that bring me a sense of purpose and giving back to people and creating something aesthetically or artistically that stands the test of time.
So I feel like you want to hit a home run, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
And I feel like to do that, you have to be your own boss.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're trying to take steps to be your own boss, which is, I think, the only way you can crush it. Whether
I agree.
Real estate, writing, art, videography, starting your own small business. I think if you're working, like I work for a corporation, I could work there for 30 years. I'd end up being pretty okay.
Yeah.
Pretty financially secure. But I'm never going to crush it.
Well, there's a salary cap.
CEO, and I think the only way to really crush it is to do it yourself. And I think you're trying to do it yourself.
Oh, so I've been trying. Not succeeding, but trying.
Yep. So I think you have to find a way to cover your base expenses, which I don't know. Maybe that's through writing this or that, or taking off, gig jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still work on hitting your home run.
Yeah.
So
ideally.
I think you're trying to hit the home run. So I think that's where but that's feast or famine.
And I'm mostly famine. Yeah, oh yeah.
So that's the risk. How long are you okay?
Struggling. Really struggling.
Being starving financially.
Yeah. Well, starving artist.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on that note, I can't believe I ripped off the Band-Aid and sat down with you and did this. It feels so surreal also talking to like an audience you know what I mean? It's a weird feeling, but it's good. I'm excited to do this and start this.
Whenever this airs or whenever it's cleaned up, if we even clean up, we'll see how bad the audio
I'm scared with all these.
Yeah,
here's my dog.
Here's the pup.
Yeah.
If someone wants to ask a question, like, do you want them to email you or
another pickup truck. See what I mean? We're truly in rural Pennsylvania.
Diesel too.
Yeah. Email me at the number 11 Jacobs JACOBSA @gmail.com. If you have questions, concerns, complaints, worries, if you just want a pen pal email during quarantine, I have nothing else to do. I want this to become a thing. If you have like a direction you think it should go, or if you want more of a certain guest or vibe from me, I think it'd be pretty cool to just get opinions.
Yeah. I hope to be invited back.
Yeah, you definitely will.
Me now and then,
I want to have a segment. And, yeah, guys, stay safe in quarantine.
Oh, you stop it yet?
No.
I hate when people say stay safe in quarantine. It's such a cheesy thing.
I've been texting that to people. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm just chilling here. I mean, if I get
just eating Doritos.
Stay safe.
Okay, guys, go get the Corona. All right.
No, you can't promote that either. Just live your life.
Live your life. Whatever happens, happens. Good vibes, good energy.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Take your vitamins and your vitamin C. All right. Bye, guys.